Jesus says, "Don't be like the lukewarm church, for pure religion is this." 𝗃𝗶𝗃𝗁. The blessings of the Lord be with us all, heart dwellers. He truly is with us, and today He gave us an instruction on charity. I asked Him, "Lord, what do you want to speak on today?" Jesus began, "I will defend the widow and the orphan. I will open my coffers and pour out upon them the abundance of my blessing. This is a season when many go in want, while others bask in luxury. As it is written in James 1:26 and 27, if anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is worthless. Clean and undefiled religion before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. My brides, be on the lookout for those in need during this season. There is great depression among the poor and lonely during this season. I wish to touch them with my love through you. All around you are those who cannot afford the dinners that others prepare for all week. Simply put, don't allow yourself to be blind to your neighbor's distress. Don't allow yourself to criticize their lives or take exception with their situation. Many of these have been abused and rejected from childhood, and their only interaction with the world was to get what they needed through every deceptive means. They do not understand family or love and protection. They've had to fend for themselves, fighting off hunger, loneliness, the cold and hostility of those around them. It is truly sad and breaks my heart to see how children are treated. But the issues go back through many generations of drinking, crime, and drugs. These who are so looked down upon have been rejected from birth and do not have the normal social skills of you who have been raised by good parents. Were I to show you what their childhood was like, you would be horrified. Many of these children were tended only by my angels. They went from dumpster to dumpster, looking for clothing and food, while their parents locked them out of the house or were constantly gone, either under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or walking the streets looking for their next fix. I have put these poor ones before you as an exercise in mercy. Many who came from middle-class and functional lower-class families do not understand the principles of mercy and reaching out on a personal level to the unfortunate. I have to confess there that was so true of us. When I was growing up with my mother, she would really be terribly harsh with people who were on the streets or who were begging and very poor. Very, very critical of them and say, "Why don't they just go and get a job?" And that's the attitude of a lot of the working class. Their own pursuits in the world have hardened them against those who seem to be lazy and failures, not caring for themselves and their children. Many of these are severely mentally damaged from childhood injuries and cannot think for themselves in pressured situations. So they go from job to job or crime to crime, getting what they need to survive. You who have been born into fortunate circumstances are meant to carry the burdens of the poor with your excess, and not to fill your coffers for the future, which you may not even live to see, but to act in my stead and supply for their needs. In doing this, you become the sons and daughters of righteousness. The poor are my gift to you, to help you cultivate virtue. The early church always provided for the poor among them, always. This they were taught from the very beginning. The poor among you are truly my gift, by which you prove your faithfulness and love for me. To pass by one of these needy ones on the street without a stirring in your heart and $1 in your hand is a symptom of the lukewarm church. Busy about her business agendas, the poor are an inconvenience and impediment to her acquisition of wealth. But for you who have been touched by my love, you have been trained not to judge, not to respond the way the rest of the selfish world responds, but to go out of yourself, out of your class boundaries, and show my mercy. The enemy of all good has striven to remove this responsibility from you, knowing full well the graces that flow with charity. They have hardened your hearts against the poor, and hardened the hearts of the poor against you. I never intended this. I intended your excess to supply for their need, and someday their excess to provide for others' needs. This is training in holiness, and Satan had deliberately removed this opportunity from you, while hurling accusations on these injured souls, causing enmity and division in your society, fomenting discontent and hatred. And that was the end of his message. Dear ones, let us now go forward, not under the yoke of condemnation, but out of love for our Lord, in our desire to feed and clothe Him, and provide for Him who dwells with the poor. Let's make this season a time of exceptional care and concern for those around us who are wanting, and let's do it in the name of the Lord, giving according to our means, with these words from Jesus with love.